Hey everyone, happy May Day. I wanted to do a garden tour for you today. Week one of garden tours. I wanted to show you some of uh, the cool plants that I'm really excited about in my garden. Uh, the first thing I want to note is I have a lot of biodiversity in my garden. It's super important to try and plant a lot of different plants because if you monocrop or only plant one variety of plant, often if you have a disease run through it or a pest run through it, it'll kill everything. Whereas if you have a bunch of different plants, if pests or disease or what have you kill one variety of a thing, you can at least rely often on the other plants that weren't attacked by whatever pest, whatever blight. Here's just a few of the highlights of this garden tour. The first thing I want to show you, look at that potato. I have never seen potato leaves be this dark before. This was a variety of a bunch of different potatoes mixed together. And so there's like 5 different types of potato in here. And again, I've never seen leaves that dark. And like, look how healthy these leaves are. This is a beautiful potato. You can see some more right there, some more poking out. Also really excited for, I'm excited for this little guy right here. That's asparagus, little baby asparagus poking up. This one too. That is super cool. I'm also excited to share with you that so far the strawberry tower is looking successful. I planted 28 strawberry starts in here, and they all seem to have come back really well from transplant shock, which is a thing you get often when you move a start into the earth. It's normal. And also the tower hasn't fallen. I was worried about the weight of the tower like tipping it over. So far, so good. The idea is hopefully the strawberries will put out enough, I believe they're called rhizomes, that will continue to root, and hopefully within the next few years this entire thing will just be one huge strawberry tower. We also have a lot of sunchokes poking up. Those are so cool. I'm so excited. They're getting off to a really strong start, and we have even more poking up than we did last year. So that seems really promising. I have a lot of plants on the patio. I'm not going to go over every single one of them. I just want to highlight a few. But our cauliflower is flowering. We let it go to flower because we want the seeds. It was particularly winter hardy, so gonna get the seeds from it. I have a few. I'm really excited to try these tomato vining varieties. Those two over there are Romas. I put a smaller cage because they're only going to grow to a determined height. We'll see how it does. I didn't go out to go buy a tomato cage if I already had other caging. This one is an oxheart, which is super huge. I'm hoping that will give us a lot to work with. So look how beautiful these black radish are. I am so excited for when we harvest them. We thinned them the other day, and they are just looking fabulous. We also have some mint. We're gonna plant more peppers. I might secretly plant some okra. Don't tell Shane. We were debating on planting okra, and I might just do it anyways. He'll find out. It's fine. He watches all of these. So that's the back patio. Some of the garden tour highlights. Let's go to the front yard. Okay, so now we're in the front yard. As many of you might have seen from our Instagram posts, we put this big beautiful trellis up, and I planted long noodle beans that'll drape down in here on this side in our Three Sisters bed, which I'll talk more about in a minute. And then over here, tomatoes, several different variety of tomato that I'm gonna get to vine upwards. And come on over here. I planted a dwarf sunflower in this because it's a nice little hello addition. You know, you also want beauty in your garden. You want it to be a place that brings you joy and happiness. But let's continue on. We finally have our Chinese white radish poking up. I'm pretty sure it's a daikon radish that we can use for making kimchi that was just labeled weirdly. But those are starting to poke up, as well as the pak choi. This started to poke up yesterday. So that's super exciting. And then over here, we planted in this row coral bells, which is a beautiful, like, bright orange bell pepper. And I was so worried we weren't going to get any. We went through a whole pack of like seeds, and these were the 3 we got out of it. Sometimes you get cool varieties that just don't germinate as well as you hope. But then behind them, we have Jimmy Nardellas. These are a sweet, long, like red pepper that are great for making sauces. I'm really excited about those. So let's go over to this bed for an update. Look how big this garlic is getting. That is some big garlic. Planting it in the fall this year, it made all the difference. And then I am so excited for these chives. Chives are one of those plants that actually are healthier when you have a person to trim back some of the leaves and take cuttings. The more you healthily harvest it, it gives it energy to re-send up more chives, whereas if you just let it go and say only harvest it at the end, it'll kind of like choke itself out because it'll shoot up so many. I also did have to replant one of the lavender bushes. This was the only one that didn't really make it, so I got a new lavender. Yeah. This bed is super healthy. The final bed, which I haven't actually planted yet, but am really excited about, is the Three Sisters bed, which is corn, beans, and squash. I am gonna do a longer episode about like the principles that I've read on it. It's probably the biggest gamble of a bed we're planting this season, but I want to try it because it looks cool and fun and because I can. And yeah. So, I'll talk more about that in a future episode. Oh, one thing I definitely really want to show you is come over here. I posted a picture of this on Instagram yesterday, but I just want to talk about it in this video because I think it's so cool. So, folks, remember I made those seed bombs, and it's been raining enough that I just literally all I did was throw these on the ground. Look at that. You got so many little sprouts coming up, really healthy and really strong. The clay helps hold the compost and seeds together, and the compost gives it the nutrients. All you do, throw it on the ground, let the rain come and do the rest of the work, and I'm really excited. I think this is one of the zinnia varieties, which will help attract pollinators. Also, some folks say there's a 4th sister in the Three Sisters kind of universe, and that's either sunflowers, which I've planted right here. These are dwarf sunflowers, or bee balm. You don't see any bee balm coming up yet because it's just seeds, but it's there. I'm really excited. Let's head to the backyard. Okay, so, you know, I talked a little bit about planting for biodiversity because not everything is gonna make it. Sometimes things are attacked by pests. Sometimes you get various diseases, and there's ways to take care of those. But one that I found today that makes me so mad is, get a look here. In our ramps, we found grubs. I don't know how well you can see them on the camera, but there's a bunch of little grub worms here.
See their eggs too.
Yeah, and you can see their eggs. So, which is really sad. But there is something to do about it. I texted my mom, who again has her degree in horticulture, what's an organic way to handle this? And she suggested milky spore, which is a type of microorganism. I don't remember at the moment if it's a bacteria or fungi, but basically that will get rid of the grubs. It's introducing a friendly microorganism to help take care of your garden, and it's supposed to be where you only apply it twice, but then it'll protect for a long time, because then those microorganisms are living in your soil, helping to add that extra protection. It's really fun in the garden to figure out things that will help protect your garden from pests, like alliums, marigold. If you want to see me do a video on a bunch of different companion plants or things you can introduce to your garden to help create a healthier space and protect from things such as grubs, let me know in the comments below. Come on. So we've got our tomato bed. All of our tomatoes are looking really healthy so far. In a couple days, I'm gonna come and trim the leaves that are closer to the soil, because the water will bounce from the soil onto your leaves and make it more susceptible to blight. So gonna come back and do that. Right now we have bird netting up, and that's because last year when I planted a bunch of tomatoes like this, the deer came and were like, look, you planted me a snack, thank you. And I lost a couple tomatoes and had to replant that way. So bird netting until we design a bigger gate, which my loving, awesome, handy partner helped construct. This is where the tomatoes got attacked last year, is in these two beds. So we built a gate around it to help protect from groundhogs, which were stealing our tomatoes. No joke, they were stealing our, running away with our tomatoes until we put in fencing. So, groundhogs. But let me show you what's going on in these beds. So, I have onions planted all around the beds, which are starting to come up, these little guys. And then I planted a couple tomatillos. Let me introduce you to a super cool cucumber. Come on. Make sure not to step here, because there's peanuts there. So, this is one of my favorite plants so far. He's picked up a little bit of powdery mildew, but I just sprayed him with neem oil. But let me tell you about this plant. It is so cool. So, cucumbers have these little vines that will spiral around something. And Shane lost his glasses, and we couldn't find them for days. And I went to pick up this cucumber because I was going to plant it, and the cucumber had wrapped itself around the glasses, like the bridge of the glasses that had fallen behind the nightstand, and I picked it up and it was holding Shane's glasses. That's what you call some serious plant magic. This is a friendly, helping plant. So I want to make sure it's healthy as possible, so we sprayed it down with neem oil. I sometimes plants just do the coolest of things. We also got a bunch of different varieties of pepper in here. We got some shishito, pasilla bajío, cayenne. I think this is a bell pepper. We had huge bell peppers last year. We're hoping to do that again. Something I'm going to show you later in the season when we're able to seed save is, well, seed saving. You want to seed save some of your best crops. Once we have actual peppers and other plants to seed save from, I'll show you how to do it. I want to show you the final bed, which is so exciting, over here. So, we had to build this because the deer just decided it'd be really cool to walk through the bed. They luckily didn't eat anything, but you can see their footprints, and they crushed my little chamomile right there. I was very upset. So we built this, and that'll hopefully help. But we have a bunch of different things planted over here, from sweet sorghum grass, which is kind of like a sugary grass, anise, we've got some mammoth dill, chamomile, amaranth, which you can use for a grain to make various types of breads and stuff with. We have some more asparagus because I love asparagus. Asparagus is very good. Echinacea, because it's really great in teas. It's also a really pretty flower. Then over here, I got some celery starts. I haven't grown celery before. We're giving it a try. I'm told to make it that nice long plant that you get from the grocery store. You gotta mound up the dirt around it. So we're gonna see how that goes. We're gonna give it a try. Not sure. But look at this raspberry bush. We trellised it. This is one of our first videos. And I wasn't sure if my trellising was gonna basically kill the plant or not, but it's growing vertically now instead of sprawling throughout the yard and really putting on leaves healthily. I'm really impressed and really excited for the raspberries we'll get. Then underneath that, look at this beautiful forest of onions. I planted a ton of onion starts. Onions help again with food security. They stay for pretty long, and so we planted some. I also planted peanuts along here. Obviously you can't see them yet, but we're giving peanuts a try this year. They're nitrogen fixers, which means they help take nitrogen out of the air, return it to the soil through a partnership with a microorganism, and make it accessible for plants to actually consume the nitrogen. And then we've done red cabbage, both seed and starts. Some Napa cabbage, because we do love making some kimchi. Kimchi, I do recommend. Our radishes are chugging along really well. We're going to see how they continue to grow. I'm super excited for all these variety of radishes. And yeah, so I really hope this garden tour has helped bring you some joy, like how it brings me some joy. If you have any questions about pest control, about growing certain things, whatever, it gives me ideas for future episodes, so please let me know. Subscribe so when you see future videos you can get them. Yeah, I hope this has helped you grow a greater garden.